just want to get on here today and paint for a little bit. For anybody who wanted to paint along, actually let me show you what I'm painting today. I've been painting these cone flowers lately, and I thought I'd paint one with you. And I will show you how I started off. I am using this cold press paper by Bee's Company. It's a cotton paper. Actually, you know what? Oh, hang on a second before I do this. Let me tape this paper down so it doesn't move all over the place. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna tape him down so I can get it to stay still. Just add a little tape to the top, tape to the bottom. There we go. All right, so let me show you again. So this is what we're gonna paint today, or something along those lines. It comes out different every time you paint it because it's just painting by intuition. So I'm going to start off painting a dome shape with these water droplets. And I use these water droplets as a guide to kind of draw it ahead of time to see what I'm doing, if I like it. If I don't like it, I can always pick it up with a paper towel. And then I'm going to disturb that water. And now it is a lot of water that is here. So if you don't want that much water, always keep a paper towel close by and just dry it off, or dry off the brush and pick it up the water a little bit. So this is a dome shape. It's hard to see it, but I'm going to add some pigment in there so you can see. And I'm going to touch along the edges and let that color bleed into that area. I'm going to tap it in there and just let it move all around, and don't over mix it, just allow it to bleed into it. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I don't know everyone's name, so if you want to leave your name so I can address you by your name. I hate not addressing people by names. And that way we can get to know each other better. So now that I put that in there, I'm going to lift some of it out by drying the brush a little bit and coming back in and pulling some of that color out. So that way I can get different values out of this color. So getting down to its lightest. This is a Rockwell paint. It's called Magic Wizard. I don't know all of my paint colors, honestly. They get all mixed up in my palette and I don't know what's what. But this one is one of my favorites, so I'm aware of it. And now I'm going to come in and tap a little bit. The idea is to get different values. So I'm getting a light value, a medium value, and the darkest value. And that's what's going to give it a lot of contrast and make it pop off the page a little bit. Okay. All right, and then I will leave this alone for a little bit, let it dry and do its thing, and then I can come back in later and add another layer if I want. Actually, let's pick up a little bit more pigment. Do that by just adding a paper towel and pulling out some of that color. There we go. And now I am going to add some petals. So let's see, we'll do petals here, and again this water just acts as a guide to let me know where my petals would be. If I don't like how it turns out, I can always pick it back up and do it again. So I'm just imagining some petals shooting out from this center like that, something like that. There we go. Put it back here. And I think I'm going to use a pinkish, let me see, this rose red color. Okay, so I'm going to come in here, tap those, rinse off my brush, and now I'm going to pull this color out. And again, I'm losing a lot of water, but you can pick it by just drying off the brush and going back over it. I'll let it touch just a little bit so those colors intermingle with each other. And I leave white gaps in between because we can't get white with watercolor, so you want to make sure never to cover up your white. You can always go darker, but it's hard to go lighter. There we go. And just kind of just swishing the brush. I don't want to actually draw it, so I just tap it along there and just, pull it out so I can get an organic shape to it. Just like that. Okay. And then I will pick up a little bit more pigment of maybe a kind of like a tea-like consistency, and come back in here and touch some of these areas so I can get a little bit of a darker value going around the center. I think the hardest part is knowing when to stop, to step away from it and not overworking a painting. Oh, Florida. I lived in Florida for a very long time. Your videos are mesmerizing. This is such a different way to use water, and I'm here for it. Aw, thank you so much, Amanda. I appreciate it. I do try to really enjoy it and experiment a lot. And this is just what came from me experimenting. Okay. Now I'm going to come back into that center and add a little bit more pigment now that it's had time to settle a little bit and dry. Oh, hang on, let's pull that out. And now I can add that detail. So I'm going to tap it just a little bit. And right now I am using an Artify round brush, size 8. Now I'm coming back over this area where I lightened it, so this darker value is standing against it, and now I can really see these little dots, and it will add some texture to it. And while I'm doing that, the rest of the petals are kind of settling and drying a little bit. Let's see. I'm going to pick up a little bit of a brighter pink in here. Touch along these edges. I'm barely just touching it. In fact, let me switch brushes. I don't know about you, but I'm always switching brushes while I'm painting because different brushes are going to give you different looks, different strokes, different amount of pigment. Okay, so I'm going to use the tip of this and just barely touch wherever it's wet. It's going to give me a little darker of these edges and give a little interest to this. All right. There. You never really know what you're going to get until it's dry, but when it dries, you start seeing what you can work with, and you can layer it and have fun with it. And I'm going to come back in here a little bit more, darken that up a little bit. And let's see. Pull these out. I'm just using like light strokes. I'm not trying to actually paint any specific shape, and just pulling it away from the center until I'm happy with it or it looks semi like a flower. Add a little bit more bright pink. Don't be afraid to play with your colors. Maybe a little bit over here to kind of give the illusion that there's some petals back there. And now, while I wait for that, I will come in with a stem. So let's see, the stem will go maybe about right here. So again, I just use this as a guideline of where I would like it to see if I'm gonna like it first. Like, all right, that kind of works. And then I'll come back in with this. This is my Fuumuui pinhead brush, or needle nose, however they want to call it. And I'll just touch these. Okay. And now I'm going to drag that out. And there's a lot of water in this stem, so I'm going to drag some of it out so I can get another value in here too, because it's really wet. So let me rinse this brush off and pick up a little bit of that water, just drying off the brush and pulling it out. And now this is my lightest value. So I'm going to come in, always start with the lightest value and then build up. I used to paint with acrylics, so it was really hard for me to get that concept, because acrylic you paint in the opposite. You go from dark to light, so this was a little hard for me to start off with. But I figured it out, or I'm still figuring it out. There we go. I love when the colors all bleed together. I'm not afraid to have some of that green bleed into the pink. When it dries, it will really add another interesting look in here. Add some green up in here. The stem is probably going this direction. There we go. Add a little bit more. Let's pick up a little bit more, maybe a creamier milk-like consistency, and just tap along one edge or one side. Okay, and now that those petals have time to settle for a little bit, we can come back in, and with that same color and a darker value, I'm just going to come in and start pulling in some more. And it's still really wet, so the color is going to bleed into whatever's there. Leaving those white gaps in between, maybe a little darker towards the center. Alright. And I'm going to use, I don't know if anyone's ever used Lisilinka's metallics. Oh, these are such pretty colors. She makes these handmade paints, and it is so pretty. I've never seen a metallic this pretty, actually. Let's mix that up. I don't know if you can see that shimmer. Oh, it is so pretty. Alright, now I'm going to tap some of that in here. Just a little shimmer, because everything is better with shimmer. I love it. Love it. Love it. And when this dries and you hold it, it's just going to have such a pretty reflection to it. Let's add a little bit up here. Just a couple little dots. And let's add a little splatter, because why not? Just dipping it in the water and in the paint, and then just tapping the brush and giving it a little tap. Be careful not to go overboard with this. I have done that more times than I can count. I get happy with all of the splatters and then it just makes a big mess, so limit that. Let's pull some of the water out of here. Another way, let me see if I have a towel. I always keep tissue paper on hand to help lift out these colors. That gives it a very light, airy look to it. There we go. Alright. Like it. I think I might just leave and be. Now when this dries, I always end up coming back and adding something else, but I think this is good. I'm going to leave it here. Okay, well maybe just a little bit more. Let's add just a little bit right here. Alright. I'm just going to walk away and leave this little guy to dry on its own. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate it. I'm going to try to do more lives. It's not always easy, but it's nice to be able to have a moment to speak to you guys, to know you guys a little better. Let me take this off so you guys can see it. I don't know if you can see the shimmer on that. It's wet, but when it dries, you'll really be able to see that sparkle more. All right, and that's all. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll catch you guys next time.